One of the hardest rooms to renovate in the house, that's the bathroom. As a DIYer, you need to have a lot of knowledge and be able to use many techniques. And in this series, we show you all these techniques.
We're constructing a bathroom step by step. The walls are already up. Now, it is time for the shower.
It is important that the shower is perfectly waterproof. And that's why I apply another coating on the walls in the shower. I also install the shower tray with the water barrier.
We look at how you place such a shower tray and make the shower area waterproof.
For a nice finish, I genuinely desire to get the top of the shower tray level with the finished floor level on this piece indeed. Fortunately, I have a frame with adjustable legs, so I can, quite easily, adjust the height of the box. I also have a block that is precisely equal to the thickness of that shower tray. I still need to know the exact thickness of the floor structure here. So that is at least the thickness of the tile, and also the tile adhesive that I need to glue that tile. But directly opposed to OSB, that's simply not a good idea. So that's why I will also place a decoupling mat later. Then I also must account for the thickness of that decoupling mat.
With glue I need for this. A foam template is included with the shower leg set. This represents the height of the shower tray. That level should indeed come out as high as the floor level. With the decoupling mat and floor tile included, combined with caulking blocks to precisely determine the thickness of the glue, you build up the height like this. For the thickness of the glue, take a calibrating block 1/3 of the thickness of your glue comb. To simplify it a bit, we bring in an OSB board of exactly the same thickness. You could also lay the shower tray on the floor, but by laying the shower tray level with the floor, you create a kind of walk-in shower. Carefully level the shower frame using the adjustable legs provided. Once perfectly aligned, securely fasten it in place using the provided nuts, ensuring stability. The shower siphon is fixed in a base. Some legs also come to this frame. Connect them and ensure you are perfectly level. You also need to securely attach the PVC pipes for the drainage system. Carefully bevel the ends a bit. It makes the connection process more straightforward. Moreover, it's advisable to apply a good amount of silicone spray. This will not only aid in smoother assembly, but also contribute to a more efficient process. Make the necessary adjustments and carefully connect the siphon to its frame. This way, it will assuredly no longer shift or move. For this, screw the siphon with its end piece onto the frame. Once everything is securely anchored together, you then move to conduct a leakage test.
The shower siphon is fixed to the frame. Before placing the shower tray, I want to check if everything's waterproof.
Time to put the shower tray in its place. Carefully remove the cardboard, preferably without a cutter or utility knife. It'd be a shame to have scratches on the box. Before you proceed with the installation, you should also meticulously inspect it for any potential damages or imperfections. A sealing membrane is attached to the container. Leave this one, as it is needed for the installation. You can already make the throughput. The sealing rubber should come out at the bottom of the shower tray. The box is heavy. Even if you have an extra pair of hands to help, it already makes it easy for you with suction cups. They vacuum themselves tight, after which you have a handle to maneuver the object more easily. Temporarily close the siphon with the supplied cap. This way, no dirt enters the drain during works. The base of the shower is ready. Before we can proceed, we first seal the seams between the drywall. Initially, what comes is a self-adhesive reinforcement tape, specifically designed to prevent any potential cracks from forming later on, ensuring durability.
You first reinforce the seam between the two plates with the reinforcement mesh, and then they are filled in twice. So the first layer, the filler, dries and slightly shrinks. Then, applying the second layer, the finisher, ensures a smooth end result. And only when it is entirely dry then you can sand.
Before applying the plaster, especially the filler and finisher, we jog your memory, ensuring clarity. If you happen to have a saving board, it will significantly make the work much easier. Gently scoop some filler onto the savings board. As a first step, you apply enough filler. Then carefully remove any excess of the product. You should only do that with the flat side of the putty knife. The intention here is that you should only firmly press your putty knife on the plasterboard, not on the beveled side. As a result, you only remove plaster from the plate, not the seam. Then hold the putty knife straight against the wall without exerting pressure against it, but downwards. For an extra finish, you can go over the seam again with your putty knife at a sharp angle, but without applying pressure, ensuring a smooth finish. This way you can be sure that the seam is smooth. Now all the excess plaster is gone and it can dry. You still populate the holes where the screws are with the filler. Simply fill the joints vertically and gently remove the excess plaster in a horizontal direction. Do this both from right to left and from left to right. When the plaster is dry, you can finish the seam with a finer plaster, a finisher. If you put your putty knife on the seam, you will see that the plaster has been attracted. So there's a small cavity behind your knife. Fill it with the finisher. You can make the finisher yourself or opt for ready-made pasta. Apply some to your saving board, so you don't have to walk to the bucket often. Now use a wider knife than your putty knife, such as a trowel. Even now you are overfilling the seam, so apply a lot more plaster than you need. Then you remove the excess plaster with a clean trowel. Press again only on the plasterboard and not in the seam. First, remove the excess on the sides by applying pressure to the trowel along the side you want to remove. And then you go over the seam with the full width. This is how you remove the excess plaster in the middle. You can check your work by pressing your trowel into the seam. The intention is that you no longer see an opening behind your trowel. There should also be no mark from your trowel left in the wet plaster. Once the plaster work is done and sufficiently hardened, it's time to start sealing the shower walls.
This part of the bathroom is finished with tiles, so both the floor and the wall. But first, a decoupling mat will be placed on the floor, and a waterproof coating will also be applied in the shower first. To guarantee that all those different materials adhere well to all those different surfaces, in fact, I first actually use a suitable primer. So one type of primer that I indeed use for all different types of surfaces.
First, you divide it into a bucket, or as demonstrated here in a wallpaper paste bin. In that setup, you can easily prepare your roll. These are quite large areas here, so it's relatively easy to work by carefully applying the roll on a telescopic pole. Systematically apply the primer to the plasterboard, and definitely also provide a layer between the cement boards and sealing tape of the shower tray. With a brush, it is now even more convenient to implement. Then continue carefully finishing the cement boards. We are applying another sealing coating in the shower for a better seal. A corner tape is still coming in the corners. This serves to guarantee a watertight seal everywhere. Measure how many strips you need and cut to size. For inside corners, cut strips at an angle to cover the corner more accurately. Meanwhile, the wooden subfloor can also be primed. Let the primer dry for a while. The sealant for the shower wall can now be applied. Thoroughly mix well so that everything forms into a perfectly homogeneous mass. The color must be entirely uniform. Then, meticulously reapply the mixture using a paint roller. Where it is necessary, you should use a telescopic pole once again. In corners, apply everything with a brush for more precision. While the product's still wet, apply Kimband. Press firmly, make sure the foil is not folded double, but is nicely connected everywhere. Where the pairings are out of the wall, you certainly apply the product well. In addition, you also provide a special closing membrane. First, thoroughly impregnate it with the product. Connect to the wall again in the still wet sealing emulsion. Each coupling type receives a sealing membrane to ensure a complete waterproof barrier. Make sure there is no air behind the sealing tape. Then you apply an extra layering over the seam tape. Let all dry well.
It goes without saying that it is important to completely waterproof the shower. And the edge between the shower tray and the wall tiles, which is siliconized afterwards, but that remains a sensitive point, especially when the silicone gets a bit older. That's why I have simply placed a receptacle here, to which a water barrier cloth is already attached in the corner. And so, that particular seam is also perfectly waterproof. I meticulously adhere it with the same blue coating that I consistently use for the entire wall. So, first apply a bit of it, and then carefully position the water-repellent fabric right in place.
After a few hours, you can simply administer a second layer. You just apply it in the same way as the first one. Apply sufficiently and effectively. In total, you should have a layer thickness of almost 1 millimeter to get a good seal. So this job wasn't really difficult. The main purpose, essentially, is to waterproof the shower and shower area thoroughly. In the next episode, we will already be exploring the detailed and comprehensive finishing of the floor.
We have stepped back further in making our luxury bathroom. Next time, then, we will continue. Do you wish to rewatch one of these series episodes in the meantime? Visit our website www.dobet.be. Through our website, you can also subscribe to our online magazine. And I would love to see you back in my next job. Until next time.